Hi, I'm Brenda Adler, Culinary Specialist for Gordon Food Service in the southern region of Florida. Today we're going to do a classic dish, chicken cordon bleu. And I know everyone is very familiar with this dish. However, I want to really take this up a little bit of a notch with some high quality ingredients and using a different cut of chicken, which is going to be the chicken leg and thigh, deboned. I'm going to do two versions, one with skin, no gluten, and the other with the classic way with a panko breadcrumb. First, we're going to start with the chicken leg. I really feel that this really brings the product up a notch using a raised without antibiotic product from Halpern's Prime Steak and Seafood Company. We are going to stuff that with a little bit of smoked Gouda and a high quality ham, which is also a little bit touch of honey and a little bit of smoke. This is a very classic rendering of the chicken cordon bleu that's been prepared for hundreds of years. So let's take a look at how this comes together in our kitchen. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with our chicken, and I actually decided to use a chicken leg, which is the thigh and the leg, completely deboned. This is a Halpern's item from Joyce Farms. This is a never ever chicken program, which means raised without antibiotics. And I'm going to do it two ways. I have two pieces of chicken here. And they're both with skin on. I'm going to create a gluten-friendly version of this without the flour and the breadcrumb. And then I'm going to do a traditional version with the panko, and I'm going to remove the skin on the one that I'm going to bread. And the reason I'm doing that is because the skin won't get crispy, and you really don't want the fat, so to speak. Doesn't really pair well once you've got the cream sauce and everything going on, so you want to remove the skin. So we're going to go ahead and butterfly both pieces of chicken. We're going to take a Ziploc bag and we're going to pound out the chicken ever so slightly. We don't want to pound too hard because you don't want to break up the chicken and create holes in it. Now when you're doing the one without the skin, you have to really be gentle and work with kind of kid gloves with that one. When you're working with the skin, it's a little more forgiving. You can pound it a little harder, make it a little larger. Okay? So we are going to go ahead and start filling our chicken. We want to always season your meat. A little salt. Freshly ground black pepper. Okay, and we start with our ham, which is our Brickman's Bavarian honey smoked ham, and our Brickman's smoked Gouda cheese. And I'm actually going to use 2 slices per chicken breast. And I'm going to open it up a little bit. We're going to cut our cheese into a small piece. This will fit very nice and neat inside. We're going to put, very important, the fresh sage leaves. This is going to give a really subtle overtone of some herb and also give it a nice color when you go to cut into it. Do the same on the other version. Wrap the cheese in the ham. Now the one without the skin is a little more difficult to work with because you don't have that skin keeping it together. So when we go to do the breading, we're going to really bread that pretty heavily. do the same thing here. I'm gonna wrap that. I have a couple of toothpicks here that I'm gonna use to help me keep the chicken closed up so that it doesn't open during cooking. So we're just going to brown both pieces of chicken in a saute pan using a little bit of olive oil and canola oil mixed together. And I always mix the two because I like to raise the smoke point of the pan, and you cannot do that with just straight up olive oil. You don't want that olive oil to burn. So by adding the little bit of high heat or hot smoke point oil really helps keep that olive oil fresh tasting. And we're gonna go ahead and just start crisping up the skin. And while that's starting to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick breading procedure with flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Okay. You want to kind of press those breadcrumbs in and seam down on this one. Okay? Okay. And I'm going to put a little more salt and pepper on this one that doesn't have the breading. So now that we have everything browned on all sides, we're going to take the entire pan and we're going to go ahead and put it in a 375 degree oven. I like it a little hot. You can go 350, but I like the 375 because I want to get that skin on product really nice and brown and crispy. While the chicken is in the oven, we're going to go ahead and start our wild mushroom cream sauce. We're going to start with a little bit of onions, chopped garlic, chopped shallots. We're going to sweat the vegetables together. I don't want to burn the garlic, so very, very important, because if that garlic burns or browns, it's going to change the entire flavor of your sauce. So we're good enough. These are going to finish cooking. So we're going to add our mushrooms, which are creminis, shiitakes, portobellas, porcini mushroom. That porcini mushroom is the key to this dish tasting incredible. This gives it the wild mushroom sauce, that earthy flavor that really complements the smoky cheese and the ham that's going to, when you cut into that cordon bleu. So again, we have a pretty high heat. I don't want to burn my vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and deglaze it with a little bit of white wine. And we want to cook down and get all those little bits from the bottom of the pan, because that is where the flavor is. Classic cooking here. So we're really not reinventing the wheel, so I want to make sure that all of the liquid is cooked out of the mushrooms before we add our cream. Can't forget our herbs. I'm going to now throw in a little bit of fresh thyme. And you want to do this now because you want the heat to open up the oils and the flavors of the fresh herb. And you can use any herb. I like the thyme because it's subtle, like the sage that we used in the chicken dish. The two herbs together really complement each other. So as you can see, all of our liquid is pretty much gone. I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 cup of heavy cream. Get the cream sauce boiling, and then you're going to reduce it to a hard simmer, and you're going to keep reducing the cream until you get to the consistency that you're looking for. It's not going to be too thick, and it's not going to be too thin. So you have to be careful, and you can always adjust the texture or the viscosity of your sauce by adding a little more wine or a little more cream, just kind of depending what type of flavor you want to go for. Okay, so our cream sauce has reduced. We want to always taste our sauces to make sure that we have the right flavor profile, and it's just perfect. So I think we're ready to take our chicken out of the oven. So here we are. So now I have the chicken's been resting for about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a cutting board. I have 2 beautiful blue cobalt plates that I got from Homer Laughlin, and I think it just really represents what the dish has to offer by the color of the plate. And I think we eat with our eyes before we eat with our stomachs, so I think the visual presentation is extremely important to this classic dish. So we're going to go ahead and start with the gluten-friendly first. So as I did earlier, I want to make sure that we take our little picks out. And as you can see, everything really holds together beautifully. I'm going to just let that rest for 1 moment. Now we've got our breaded version. And as you can see, the cheese is starting to melt. You see the little pieces of the ham in there. So I'm going to go ahead and so you can hear the crunchy skin. I'm going to cut this in half. Cooked perfect. You can see the cheese coming out, the pieces of ham. It goes right over the top. And you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of the sauce. Another way, I'm just going to maybe do something a little different. I'm going to take this off because I don't want the skin to get soft. So I'm going to actually do this a little different. I'm going to put this on a bed of the sauce. Okay, and now we'll put this back on top. Garnish it with classic chopped parsley and a little bit of our fresh thyme. And there you have it. You have your beautiful classic blue ribbon Cordon Bleu, made with Joyce Farms, raised without antibiotic chicken, top of the line, absolutely a beautiful dish.